Mark Cuban carries two phones. He has done it since 2003. One number goes to business contacts. One number goes to everyone else. And the rule is brutal. The second phone almost never gets answered during work hours. That one habit, he says, is worth more than any investment he has ever made. You were never taught this. Not in school. Not by your parents. Not by any financial influencer selling you a budgeting spreadsheet. They keep talking about saving $300 a month. Nobody tells you that the real wealth gap is not about money. It is about access to your attention. Here's why this matters to you right now. Every time your phone buzzes with a drama text, a favor request, or a low-value conversation, your brain spends between 11 and 23 minutes recovering focus. That is not my number. That is a figure from a University of California Irvine study. If that happens 6 times a day, you lose up to 2 hours and 18 minutes of productive cognitive capacity. Do that 5 days a week. That is 11.5 hours gone every single week. Gone to people who are not paying you. Gone to conversations that will never compound. That is the theft nobody talks about. It is not the government. It is not your boss. It is the invisible cost of being emotionally available to everyone all the time. Now let me give you the real story behind the two-phone system. This is not about being cold. This is not about being a sociopath in a turtleneck. This is about a very specific financial decision that people with 7-figure net worths made quietly, usually between ages 28 and 34, while everyone around them thought they were just getting weird and antisocial. Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, talked about this in an interview most people skipped. She described a period in her late 20s when she was selling fax machines by day and building her company at night. She said the single hardest thing she did was stop being the person who called back. She stopped being the reliable one in her social circle. She got called selfish. She lost friends. And she became a billionaire. The two-phone system is the physical version of that decision. It is a $4 monthly choice, the cost of a second prepaid line, that forces a psychological separation. Your professional number is where money lives. Your personal number is where everything else lives. And you build the habit of checking them in separate windows of your day. Not because you hate people. Because you are serious about one thing while the people around you are serious about nothing in particular. Here is where the $340 comes in. That is the average hourly rate of a decent business consultant in the United States right now. $340 per hour. If you protected just 1 hour of deep work per day using a two-phone boundary system, and you used that hour to build a skill, a side income, or a business asset, you would be generating the equivalent of $340 in productive value. Every single day. That is over $124,000 of value per year that you are currently giving away for free to your group chats. If this surprised you, subscribe right now. Because this channel covers what financial media ignores, the behavioral and psychological systems that actually separate people who build wealth from people who just talk about it. Now here is the deeper layer that most people miss entirely. The two-phone system is not just about protecting time. It is about controlling your identity in different contexts. There is research from Harvard Business School on what they call role separation, the idea that high performers maintain distinct psychological identities for different domains of their life. When your work contacts and your childhood friends are in the same inbox, your brain cannot fully commit to either role. You are always slightly in both worlds. Slightly distracted, slightly apologetic, slightly not here. The second phone makes the separation physical. It makes it real. When the work phone is in your hand, you are that person. When it is in the drawer, you are free to be human. The boundary is not just about other people's demands. It is about your own brain knowing which version of you is on duty. This is what rich people figured out that nobody explains in the personal finance content you have been consuming. Wealth is not primarily a money management problem. It is an attention architecture problem. You do not get rich by spending less on coffee. You get rich by spending your 24 hours radically differently than the people around you. And that starts with deciding who gets access to your focus and when. So here is the practical version you can start today with $0. You do not need a second phone right now. Take your current phone and create 2 separate contact groups. Label one priority and one standard. Set your notifications so that only priority contacts can reach you between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. and again between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. That is your protected time. That is your wealth window. Everything else goes to voicemail and gets returned in the evening. Do that for 30 days. Track what changes. I promise something will shift, not just in your productivity, but in how you see your own time. Once you feel that shift, the second phone stops feeling extreme. It starts feeling obvious. The people who taught you about money taught you about money. Nobody taught you about the infrastructure around money. The habits, the systems, the invisible architecture that makes money possible in the first place. You are not behind because the system is rigged. You are behind because you are playing by rules designed to keep you available to everyone except yourself. Do not leave this video yet. Because the next thing we cover is the meeting that millionaires never take, and the specific script they use to say no without burning a relationship. That information is worth more than everything in this video. Stay here.